At this time, I'm calling the meeting to order. I would like to welcome everybody to the May 10th, 2021 meeting of the North Coventry Township Board of Supervisors. My name is Jim Marks. I serve as chairman of the board. Present with me this evening on this Zoom meeting are Vice Chairman Rick Sheeler, Supervisors Rebecca Elliott, Spencer Claypool, and Harvey Greenwald. Also joining us is our Township Manager, Erica Badorf, and our Township Solicitor, Dan Sager. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Sent out in the board's packet last Friday was the draft of the April 26, 2021 meeting. Do I have any comments or corrections on those minutes? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of April 26, 2021?
So moved.
Harvey made the motion, Spencer seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the minutes are approved. Accounts payable, since our last meeting, we have unpaid bills totaling $108,279 and a list of paid bills and payroll totaling $109,777. Do I have any comments on the bills from the board? Do I have any comments from the public on the bills? The bills were posted. Sorry, I was a little delayed this morning or this weekend. I did post them earlier today to the website. If anybody had an opportunity to see them and has any questions, I'd ask at this time that you unmute yourself, identify yourself, and ask your question now. Hearing none. Do I have a motion to authorize the payment of $108,279 and acknowledge the paid bills and payroll in the amount of $109,777?
So moved.
Rebecca makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Rick seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the bills are approved and acknowledged. Developers bills. Anybody have any comments or questions on the developers bills? Hearing none, we're going to move into subdivision and land development. But the first item was for a proposal for a staff meeting after further discussion this morning with the township manager. I believe this topic may be not quite right for discussion at this time. Dan, I thought this was a little bit premature to be asking for a staff meeting. I wanted to get your input on this.
I did speak with Bob Brand, who's representing the applicant, and based on what I'm understanding what they're using, I think it's primarily dealing with parking and possibly dealing with variances and the township's issue with respect to that. So I did think maybe it would be helpful to have at least that kind of discussion because of the Koi Club and all the other issues that may transpire with respect to that.
Okay. I mean, I guess for the benefit of the public, I'll should acknowledge that the property address is 57 East Schuylkill Road. It's a property next to the Koi Club down by the boat ramp. They're proposing to fit out the building to manufacture and sell hard cider through a limited winery license. The issue that they have is in regard to parking. They need a certain number of spaces and don't have appropriate space within the lot lines to place parking, and they're looking to use municipal land for their parking space. The discussion here before we even get to a staff meeting is the board even open to considering that?
Well, I will say if they're probably going to seek a variance regardless. So at some point the board does need to deal with it, most likely one way or the other, whether you want to intervene or not. But so I will say that.
The variance for what?
For the parking, they think it's they will assert it's a hardship that they can't possibly have a use for it. That's what they're going to assert.
But it doesn't make the parking go away. They still have a need for parking.
And there,
Um,
and
and
there's conditions, there's the same concept with whether it's through the zoning hearing board or regardless, but regardless, they're probably gonna need a variance, no matter what the township's position is, because they're just not gonna have the parking.
Does anybody else have any comments on this?
Well, how do you deal with it if there's limited parking or no parking? And that seems to be the big issue. We all know there's just a limited amount of parking down there.
That's right.
And depending on the size of the operation that they're desiring to put in is going to determine the amount of parking that they need alone. And what control do we have over what size of operation that they have and what the requirement is?
My question is, do they want to commingle parking with the Coit Club to account for their needs? I don't know.
They do.
Well, that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, they want to use the spaces that are there.
Right.
They say, I think they'll say that they don't use they will not be operating for the most part when the Coit Club is operating or when they have their functions. And that would be part of their conditions.
Well, their peaks are probably going to be Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, so people can sit by the river and enjoy their drink, right? Did they
Right, and
mention their peak times?
They did. They put in their hours of operation and estimated customer volume Thursday through Sunday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Looks like 4 to 9, 4 to 10, Saturday 2 to 10, Sunday 2 to 6 p.m.
Wasn't that when the Koi Club is open? I mean, I know
Exactly.
they do some stuff during the day, but they're essentially a bar. And those are the hours that a bar would be open.
And if it's during Saturday, you know, we have the Little League and all that's down there that's in full operation
Right.
during the day.
Right, and and they understand that too. They have, there's a big issue and there's even more, the pickle courts and all that everything that we're talking about. They understand that.
So what's the point of a staff meeting, I guess? They understand the issues, but what's our staff going to tell them? Our staff's going to tell them right now, you don't have the parking.
Well, I think
Everything else after that is kind of mute at this point.
Well, I think that they would want to know what the township's position is with respect to certain limitations of parking. Are you willing to accede? If they were to seek a variance, what would be the township position, which obviously you could get through a public meeting. But I think they wanted to have a little bit of discussion as to with certain proposals with respect to the parking.
Isn't the parking going to be used also for the voting people?
Well, that's a separate parking lot, really.
Oh,
But it could be used for one and the same too.
Yeah, it does, and it sometimes is.
And it's
So
also
we-
used by the Little League.
Yeah.
I'm a frequent user of it on the weekend at times, and it does get quite crowded to the point that there's nothing there.
You can't really park along the street there, Hanover. It's not much there.
Just to give context to the square footage for the processing and then for the retail service that would be accessory to the fermentation and processing would require 55 parking spaces within 200 feet of their property, and that would be having access to those 55 spaces. And what we're looking at here with the parking lot, the two parking lots that include the boat trailer parking is 74. So just to give that information.
Right. And the lot, if I'm not mistaken, directly across the street that's shared with the Quake Club is 55 or 56, which
54. Yeah. Yes.
which they would take the entire lot there. And I just see there being some problems, you know, who has rights to what parking lot, and I don't know.
I think that's why they were proposing a conversation. I don't think they want 55 lots, from my understanding.
Shouldn't they meet
That's
with
the
the,
problem. The current ordinance requires that kind of wattage. They don't think they need that kind of lot.
have they talked to the Quake Club?
I don't know.
I suggested that they talk to their neighbors.
Yeah, I would think they would talk to their neighbors before they came to us. That makes a
What would they-
difference.
What would they hope to accomplish from talking to the neighbors? Because the neighbors don't have parking to offer.
Just initial feedback, I suppose. Yeah.
I don't think it can hurt. What about
Well-
delivery of bulk products and shipping of product out? How's that going to be handled? By tractor trailer or?
They
Well,
did
I
not
guess-
get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
There are questions that could be asked, you know, during a staff meeting or, you know, throughout the process.
I mean, my anticipation of the Quick Club's response is we paid $20,000 and partnered with you. You guys provided the labor, meaning the township. We provided $20,000 in material to pave that. Now you're going to take that benefit of that improved parking and hand it over to essentially, I don't know, competing business or not. But, you know, they're not going to be happy about that. I know they have no exclusive use of the land, but if that parking lot is now completely full, it's sort of like we took the benefit of the improvement and leveraged it for somebody else. I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to the Koi Club. I don't think it's fair to the township. I don't see any benefit to us in. I don't know, are we selling parking? Are they just going to be allowed to park there? I mean, we charge them for parking now. What's the benefit of the township?
Well,
We
that's
have
what
a
I'm saying.
rush.
Maybe you have the discussion with them, because you're right. There's a lot of information that you need. There's
So
a
that's
lot
why
of. Well,
I just think it's early for a staff meeting, and some of this stuff can be just talked through with zoning officer and with an attorney. But to get our engineers involved and township staff involved, I know it's on their dime. And certainly they can spend it any way they like. But I'm, you know, speaking for myself, I'm not open to negotiating the use of that parking lot down there. We haven't even consulted with Parks and Rec yet. And Parks and Rec, that's a big parking for the boat ramp, which is under Parks and Rec, for the facilities that are down there.
Yeah, we do have plans for the paddleball,
Pickleball.
right?
So I'm not interested in, you know, again, speak for myself, in pursuing this for, you know, I don't think it's our obligation to provide parking for an establishment like this. Where does it, you know, and also what's the precedent we're setting? Any public comment at this point? Anybody from the public who wishes to ask a question or make a comment on this subject, that asks you unmute yourself, identify yourself, and make your comment. All right, hearing none. So Dan, Roman, what's your recommendation to move forward here?
it's clearly the board's discretion. If the board is not interested in having a discussion, you have no obligation to do that. You can have it made clear through me or through Erica as to what the board's issue is with the parking, and let it go from there. If they pursue it through a variance, then you'll deal with it at that point. If they do not, then that's it. If you want to have the staff meeting to listen and have the discussion, that's your prerogative.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I don't think it's our problem. I think it's their problem. They have to figure it out and negotiate with the powers that be come up with a solution and then present it to us in a way that we are able to approve it or not approve it. So I think we need to table it at this point.
I agree with Rebecca. I think it's up to them. The burden is on them to show where they can park. It's not, the burden is not on the township. And they have to come up with the how they're going to come up with the parking places.
I agree also.
Harv, you in agreement?
We can intervene and try to mediate and push it forward if we're interested in bringing a new type of business into the township. However, it's a big headache for us and a lot of time and effort spent on our part. And I think that they should do it themselves and come to us with a proposal.
Exactly.
Not a blank, give me access, okay?
Yep.
Let them talk to everybody else. Let them figure out what can be done and then come back to us. They have an engineer. They can do it.
Okay. And just to be clear, I'm not against the use. I think the use would be terrific. I would use and go, I would go
Yeah,
there,
it's
partake. I think it's terrific. But
an exciting use.
the conflicts that are caused by the parking is going to be an ongoing issue for the township, for the police department. And just unfortunately, some things just don't fit. All right, so at least we have a message, I think, to send back. I don't believe there's any motions at this point, Dan, right? There's no motion.
That's
that we
right.
would
You don't
need.
need a motion. You don't need a motion, right?
You have instructions to report back to the applicant, and they can move forward under those conditions.
Very good.
All right, moving on. There is no old business. Under new business, we have a request through the fire company for a waiver for fees and also for a bond. There was some discussion on this earlier today. Eric, I'm going to kick this to you because I know since we talked this morning, there was additional information, and I think Dan weighed in on some of this too.
Certainly. The Norco Fire Company is conducting their annual fair. They did not get to do that last year with COVID. They're going to have some protocols in place this year, and they're working through the planning. The fireworks exhibition will be July 2nd of this year, and that is their plan. They are putting forward a request that they've done in years past regarding their permit for the public display of fireworks. They've provided the sufficient insurance information and added the township as additional insured. And they also have provided consent for Westmont Christian Academy facilities reservation request for the same location. The last aspect, which I was looking into today, was the requirement of the $50,000 bond to be secured. The PA fireworks law was amended in 2017 to require it. It was increased at that time. And talking with our insurance carrier, they would recommend that not be waived, that be carried out. That helps to provide another layer of security in the event that there is an incident, and the bond helps to provide compensation for any issues that may come up. The actual entity possibly, using, let's say, not an approved display of, combustibles. So that's the recommendation, and I put that out there for consideration.
Does the board have any questions? So at this time, we'd be looking for a motion to authorize granting the fireworks display permit for Norco Fire Company and waive the permit fee of $250 for the July 2nd, 2021 the fire company then would be required to provide the $50,000 bond
That is correct.
based on the recommendation of our insurance company.
Correct.
Do I have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second,
Rick makes a motion, Spencer seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
aye,
Aye. And the motion passes. Administration, police report. The monthly police report was sent out last week. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that report? Chief, do you have anything to report from the police department?
The two things. One was a training that was offered that one of our officers, Bob Hollis, Corporal Bob Hollis, was able to go last week. Got to SWAT training in New Mexico with the team and got some good training out there. And hope to get a report back from him when I see him this week. So we have that, and then also we are currently moving forward with having a meet the police community night down at the Coventry ice cream parlor. It'll be on June the 8th. It's a Tuesday evening right before I guess the kids leave school and have graduation there on that Friday, but we're going to go Tuesday the 8th from 6 to 8, where we'll be down there, be able to meet the public and just hand some things out to the kids that come in, and hopefully have a good night weather-wise and turnout-wise.
Very good. Thanks, Chief.
Welcome.
Public Works report. John had sent out last week a summary of the monthly road activity. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that report?
well, I was
I
just wondering, is the roadway fixed in front of the Fernbrook Lodge?
We completed that project, drawing a blank, I think 2 weeks ago. So it was paving of the stone driveway up to the lodge.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for John? John, do you have anything to report?
I do not.
A quick question on the driveway going out. What are the plans for paving that? Are there any in the near future?
I guess, I mean, I provided an estimate to do the stone access going up to the lodge. I was asked to provide an estimate for that. I did a sketch for the board. I haven't been approached, or no one's asked for a cost estimate to do the road going out. So if they do, I can definitely provide that cost to the board.
Okay.
Well, I would like to see one. That's in really poor condition. People are driving on the grass to get around. Some of the potholes are so big. And it'd be nice to see that, since we've done the other drive, and get it all to match. I don't know how the other supervisors feel about that.
Oh, I agree. Sounds good. Sounds good, Rick.
Yes, I agree.
So is that possible, John?
Yeah, I can get you numbers by the next meeting to just the end road going out to St. Peter's. That's it. We've done a couple projects there, and it always seems like, why haven't we done this? Why haven't we done that? And I just want to catch everything in one cost estimate that you're looking for. So
No, John, so why don't you just give us based on that, and we'll go from there.
sounds good.
Thank you. Manager report, Erica.
Thank you. I had participated with the Greater Valley Forge Transportation Management Association a few weeks ago and gave a report to the 422 Corridor Coalition. They're working on a variety of improvements. I got to hear about what's happening with Limerick, Phoenixville, and the region on some transportation issues, and gave an update on Kime Street Bridge. and on the 422 improvements that we have that are going to be coming up in the next few years, as well as Coventry Trail and the connection for the township along 724 to Kenilworth Park. It was well received given the fact that the Schuylkill River Trail, the Chester County portion, is actively under construction. If you drive along 724, you can see that work being done. And I know that the final design stage is in progress for the Montgomery County Pottstown connection. So that's all good work that is happening right now. And also, we want to give a thank you to Westmont Christian Academy. The students did a day of service on May 6th, and they contributed by removing invasive plants at Kenilworth Park and also doing a little bit of beautification at the township building. So we certainly appreciate that. It was nice to see the kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisors report. Rebecca, we'll start with you. Do you have anything tonight?
I don't have anything. I'm just curious about the PennDOT picking up the trash along 100 and 422, 724. Have they begun that yet?
Rebecca, I will check into that for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Thank you. Rick, do you have anything this evening?
No, nothing for me. Thank you.
Harvey,
Nothing.
Spencer.
Not tonight.
Okay, I have nothing as well. Solicitor report, Dan.
I wanted to inform the board that earlier this evening, I did speak with the counsel for Penmark. Penmark sent both myself and Erica a new concept plan. It has I won't say a real proposed ordinance, but it gives a concept of an ordinance, and it gives some easements for the where the bank would be and into the mall at the time. What I said to the counsel, the attorney, was basically better than what you have brought in the future, but it's probably not there yet. And on top of it is, if this is truly just a concept, the township probably isn't willing to just talk about concepts. We want definitives at this point. If you're willing to go further with that and have that discussion, then you could probably have discussion. And that's up to the board as to whether the supervisors want to be involved in that, or just generally. But the first step is, allegedly they're going to get back as to whether this is a definitive plan or whether that this is just a concept, which has been going on for the last couple of years now, just concepts, and then getting to the detail. It's not as grand as I'm losing my voice here, as grand as it was proposed, but it's at least a concept at this point. Well, I think, Erica, one of it is a hotel, I think, if there's as part of it.
That's right. Yeah. And there is a proposed new zoning classification that was put out.
Right, an
which is
overlay.
entirely,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. So
But
at this
like I
point,
said,
yeah, there's no action required from the board at this point.
that's correct.
Okay. Anything else? Tripodi?
Tripodi, we filed an answer to the application the Tripodi's filed with the Supreme Court, asking for the stay. That was about a week plus. Supreme Court hasn't decided. My guess, and it's just a guess, is that the Supreme Court is going to do away with all of it at one time. I don't think it's going to be that long before we have a decision and we can move forward.
Deja vu all over again.
Well, this is it. Unless the Supreme Court takes the case, that's it. Then that truly is it.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. All right, moving on. Before we get to public comment, I'll open the floor to any of our boards and commission members. Won't go around the board tonight, but if anybody from those boards and commissions have anything they wanted to offer, I'd ask that you do it at this time.
Hey, Genesis Vince, can you hear me?
Yep, gotcha, Vince.
You know, that was the Fernbrook exit road was on our 5-year plans. So we already had it identified on that list. And I think, Erica, you have that list as well. But John had asked if there's anything else, and you really should look at the other parking lots. So instead of coming back multiple times, maybe break out the proposals, but you can show a price for the exit road and then look at what it would take to resurface the one parking lot and even probably redo the handicap parking lot as well. At least put those proposals together and then something to discuss. That's it.
Thank you. Thanks, Vince. Anybody else from boards and commissions? All right, hearing none, we will move into public comments, a portion of the meeting that the public gets an opportunity to offer a comment. If you choose to do so, I ask that you unmute yourself, identify yourself, and offer your comment at this time. Hearing none. The board is having an executive session this evening. It's a real estate matter in regard to a lease arrangement that we're going to hold. So at this time, I'm going to recess the meeting, and I ask that those who are on attendance sign off at this time. 21 people on the meeting tonight. Certainly appreciate everybody coming in, even with such a short agenda, and being with us tonight. We're back here in 2 weeks, 7 p.m. Link will be on the website, and the agenda will be posted on the website as well. So thank you again, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
All right,
Good night.
good night.
Okay,
see
good
ya.
night.
Good night.